Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's event. I appreciate everyone's time. Despite the traffic, I've been seeing like Richmond traffic, but not compared to Manila traffic, I guess. So they're still beautiful. Thank you and good evening again, everyone. So my name is Missy. I'm gonna be pretty much, giving you information of how to do business in the Philippines. For those who are this sort of like discussion or learning event, whatever you want to call it, is more so to give you an idea of how to do business in the Philippines. As you probably know now, like most of the companies doesn't mind where you guys will be located, because during COVID was meant to kill us, but actually for some industries like Flexisource IT, it made us. So we actually grow exponentially over the last 2 years during COVID. And I was grateful for it. Like all of us were, I can even remember that, like March 17, I think that was. I was the last one to exit the office. And I don't know what's gonna happen the next day. So, but it's, there's a positive side, there's a negative side on that one. So, yep, so my background, I don't usually want to brag about it. I have 15 years experience in IT operations management. I graduated in University of the Philippines, Diliman, the top 4 university in the Philippines. Yes, we do have that. We have 4 top universities in the Philippines. We have UP Diliman, we have LaSalle, Ateneo, and UST. So 10 years of experience in Australian companies. I did a lot of migration of Westpac, so Westpac, St. George Bank, Citibank, and a lot of other companies in the Philippines through IBM and QBE. Oh, I didn't realize that. Sorry about that. 1 second. There you go. That's better. So, yep, graduated magna cum laude. I came from a very poor family. So when you're poor, you want it to be successful. In the Philippines, it's very tough life. In the Philippines, you won't be hired nor be interviewed if you're not from the top 4 university. There will be a priority scanning for that. So luckily, graduated magna cum laude from the university, majoring in economics, but I'm not sure why I landed in IT operations. I initially wanted to be a lawyer after uni. I earned my master's degree in project management, not because I wanted, because I was forced by IBM. In IBM, we have 40 hours of learning, and at some point, you have to get a specific credentials, otherwise you won't get promoted. One of that is project management, and I like it. I enjoyed being a project manager because in project management, you tend to transfer from one project to another. It's not like the same line of business every time. So I get to know a lot of stakeholders, I get to know different businesses, and that helps me to be, I guess, a better leader for Flexisource IT. So I took my master's degree, that was actually in the US, but my certification happened in the Philippines. And then Six Sigma, it's always important, at least in terms of compliance. I only gotten through green belt. It's supposed to be yellow, green, and then black. So that's me. And I guess these are some of my engagement with the team, some of the talks that I had, some of the activities that we did as Flexisource IT. Flexisource is very active on startup communities in the Philippines. We're very active also in customer service and support as a support function. I've also had a chance to set up some meetup for Miles here and Scott. That was that photo there. So, yeah. For this session, there are only 4 topics I want to discuss. If you have specific questions, guys, on the side, I pretty much gave you my calling card. Send me an email, and I'll be happy to answer some of your questions, right? So maybe you have specific questions that for this discussion we won't be able to cover, but I'll be happy to answer that on the side. So what you need to know when you're starting a business in the Philippines, right? Every country has different requirements, so I'll go through that. Ways to fast track your business growth. Of course, when you set up a business, you want them to grow, right, as fast as you can. And what's the new trend in business now after COVID, post-COVID, or I'm not sure whether we are really still in COVID? and also ways to grow your business with your remote team. Because it's a trend right now, a lot of companies are going offshore because one thing about COVID, at least we've proven that, outsourcing or offshoring can work. You just have to make sure that you manage your team very well. And Flexisource does a very good job on that one. So I'll share with you that. All right, Philippines. So I'm from the Philippines. I grew up in the city, raised and born in the city. Who's been in Manila aside from Scott and Miles? Julian, yeah, very good. So Metro Manila is where the capital is. So we are pretty much, Philippines is an island. So there's a joke. How many islands? Depends if it's high tide or low tide. So it varies, but pretty much it's that. The population is 115 million, and we have 3 major cities actually. So Metro Manila is where the capital is, but if you've been in the Philippines, or if you've been active in Googling what is Philippines, there's also Cebu and Davao. Davao is where our previous president came from, the one that shoots, that's him. Metro Cebu is the other area for Manila. And the reason why these other 2 is an emerging one, because of salaries. So I'll kind of cover that also. But these 2 has a lower salary compared to the city, which is Metro Manila. The Philippines known for beautiful beaches, B-E-C-H-E-S. So that's Palawan in the center, which Julian will be going into. That's Siargao, that's Bohol, and Cebu on top. So, but these are an hour flight from the city. Philippines is also known on the downside is traffic, and that's why IT industry, like from our company, we love during COVID because we can work from home. It gives us the opportunity to work from our houses, and gave us the opportunity to come back to our families. So like myself, I moved back to my mom. So not so much fun, but Filipino spirit. So see here, Filipinos, despite typhoon, because Philippines is hot and wet, basically. We're not like Melbourne with 7 seasons in a day. So these are photos of people, like kids, smiling despite the typhoon. People are helping each other here, to transport the kids from the other side. If your truck or car was, stopped by the flood, people can, push it to help you guys. If you have issues at the side road, there are people who will, look after you and say, hey, do you need help? And so on. So we're also active. Flexisource IT, our company is also active in some of the gift giving to charities. That's something that we love to do, and Filipinos are, I admire Filipinos for that spirit. We value life in general. So some people here might think, this is a difficult job. In the Philippines, throw us a job. We like that. We love it, right? That's Filipinos. More about the Philippines. These are other cities apart from Manila, which you can start up your business. You have Clark, Pampanga. That's 2.5 hours drive from the city center. Cebu, the ones that I mentioned earlier. Davao, Iloilo. Iloilo and Cebu are pretty much close. It's a ferry away. Subic, this is where a lot of Americans are in the past as a naval base, and you will see few or some kids that's half American and half Filipino in there. And the emerging one is actually Baguio City. Baguio City is our summer capital because in Baguio it's a little bit cold. So now, I've been doing some research, there's some movements in that area, in that Baguio, because now that, we don't care whenever you are, so what's the difference? They're now going to Baguio because it's a little bit cold in there, and cheaper rates. That's what they said. So I've included that one there. So as I've mentioned, there's Metro Manila as your capital. If you've been into the Philippines, you will hear 2 business districts. The old business district, which is, well, not really old, but the original one, as they say, is Makati City, where original companies like Shell Corporation, BDO is like Commonwealth Bank, Nestle Philippines, Chevron, and PLDT are based. So that's the original business district. Now we have Bonifacio Global City, which my previous company is there located, QBE, HSBC is there, ANZ is there. BGC is like a Singapore feel. Like when you're there, there's a lot of expat that you can see with their families from all over places. So top companies are there, which is Facebook is there now, Google, Coca-Cola, yeah, QBE, Unilever, and then Globe, which is technically Optus. So that's where the business capital. Flexisource IT is located in the heart of Makati City. All right, Philippines and Australia. So what's it's like? Philippines and Australia. I hear this a lot of times from our clients. They love working with Philippine time zone because of the time. It's not too bad compared to other countries. It's just 2 hours or 3 hours. Comes October 2, we're forward by 3 hours. So it's not really too much of the difference. So, and literally, it's just the land down under. It's an 8-hour straight flight, guys, going to the Philippines. So it's not too bad. All right, let's get to the thing. What do you need to know when you're starting the business in the Philippines? All right, these are some of the requirements. I try to kind of compress it so that it won't look overwhelming. The first one is SEC. That's the Securities and Exchange Commission. This, I'm not sure what's the equivalent to Australia, but this is where you file your business name. And telling you guys, the business name, you can't just send one business name, it's going to be approved. For Flexisource Philippines, I have to submit 17 names. And then they choose. The first one that I submitted, we have 4 choices, they reject them all. And then I sent another one, 17. Out of that 17, they approved something. So, yeah. So, apart from the name, there's also it depends if you want to set it up as an incorporation, a trustee, or a solo business person. There's a different category on that. All of it, you can find in Google, but if you wanted to know more about that, I'll have your details. You can send me via email. I can discuss that separately with you guys. I'm happy to do that because I've did this for Flexisource. Open corporate bank account. It sounds easy, right? But here's the trick. For corporate accounts, you have to have at least 25,000 each daily balance each employee. So that equates to about, I don't know, $700, $800 each month, each employee. And banks varies. So opening a corporate account is easy, step 1, 2, 3. But making sure that it's linked to your SEC registration is another thing. So there's and I'm sure it's probably the same in Australia, average daily balance, but they're specific if it's payroll on an international account. You have to maintain a certain number of amount there per employee. It's the usual requirements anyway, so that's not really a difficult one. Register with the Department of Labor and Employment. This is a tricky one. This is the workers' comp, I think, in Australia. This is basically, I'm proud to say for Flexisource IT, I've been with them for 7 years, 0 labor cases. 0. And it's so unique to a company to maintain a 0 labor case. DOLE is very strict. They will always side the employee. So I've been in a lot of hearing representing IBM before. So they'll always side the employee. So, I mean, most of the time, I guess. But yeah, so you have to be very compliant on that. Hence, the 30 days notice in the Philippines must be observed. So, yeah. The fourth one is basically ATO. That's our ATO, BIR. Bureau of Internal Revenue. I call them crocodiles because they always want money from you. They always want to audit every single quarter. They will audit you, and if they find something, they'll penalize you, right? And yeah, their BIR, the ATO, they want money everywhere. So you have to make sure that you're compliant on this one as well. So, I'll discuss later. If you want to do business in the Philippines, your core management must have the skill and the talent and the experience to run a business and know all of these, because otherwise, yeah, it's going to be difficult. Yes?
Is this for external countries to have a business here, or is this what the locals must do as well?
Same. It's the same. The only difference, if you're an expat, you just have to make sure that there will be legal team in the Philippines that will say that, hey, you're Australian, but it doesn't really matter because your registration is Philippines. So that's that. Register with Social Security, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig. These Social Security is our SUPA. So, but compared to, I'm not really sure how you guys work here, but for our Social Security system, you can only have it when you're 65, if you hit 65. So, but you can early get it at 60 years old. Nowhere in the terms you can get it earlier than that. And it's not as, as probably good as your SUPA here. It's, it's not as much. But the key difference is, like Flexisource IT company in the Philippines, because we're a private sector, we give more to our employees. So we put a different contribution for them every month. So it's a little bit higher. So that's also something to entice the employees because they are looking forward to a better, like, we call them pension. So, SUPA. PhilHealth is the same, and Pag-ibig. PhilHealth is actually when you're hospitalized. Compared to Australian guys, you have a very lucky with your hospital, with your insurance. In the Philippines, it's not like that, unless you provide as a company a very strong health card. Health card is like insurance. So like for Flexisource IT, it's not common, but we have 250,000 pesos per illness per year to allocate to our employees. And that's what they like. Because other companies, you can Google that, they're only giving 50,000 pesos. Ours is good. The ones that we got is IntelliCare, which is the top actually provider in the Philippines. And that's important when you're trying to provide benefits to employees. They will be looking for that. What sort of insurance I'm getting? Is it IntelliCare? Is it Medicard? Is it Coco Life or something? Because some companies, they will just provide a health card for the hell of it. But you have to make sure that it's really what they need. Pag-ibig is a housing or salary loan. So if you want to, purchase a house, you can either go to Pag-ibig or go through a private bank. So this is a government thing. Mayor's or business permit, another crocodile thing that you have to process. Different cities in Manila has different requirements. Makati is a different one because it's Makati, and BGC too. So those two that I mentioned earlier, they have a very quite strict requirements in terms of permit. They want to make sure that you're really setting up a legitimate business, not a porn site something, not a gambling one, not something dodgy, right? For foreigners to set up a business in the Philippines, all right, cool, we like that, right? Is it legitimate one? Of course, there are still there, but they have a lot of bribes that happening. But in this section, in the business permit, they will check all of these, the 1 to 7 category if you've already filled that out. And then they'll do the inspection. So, yeah, these are just the general business requirements. If you're setting up one, you can Google them if you like, but I can also discuss that separately if you like. Moving along, so in operations, right? So how does our operations look like? Pretty much, I guess, similar and different in Australia, so let's go by category. So we have employee classification. We have probationary, regular, we have the fixed term, the casual, project-based, or seasonal. The probationary is, 6 months. Regular or permanent, these are ongoing employees that you will be hiring. For fixed term or contractual, I just need them for 1 year, or I just need them for 2 years, right? This one, some of the companies do this because they don't want to pay the separation fee. This one, once turns regular, it gets all the benefits of an employee. Once you fire them, for just cause, I don't need them, just fire them. You need to have a solid documentation why. Scott is not performing, I don't want him. All right, that's cool, but where's the documentation? If you don't have anything, you have to pay them. 1 month equivalent salary per year of service. With this one, with the contractual one, you get away with that because there's a fixed term. We'll only pay you for this one, and you don't pay them 13th month pay. These two has 13th month pay. 13th month pay is a Christmas bonus equivalent to 1 month's salary of the employee. Casual, they don't have any benefits. Project-based is like kind of seasonal too. So, yeah. Leave credits of Philippine employee. Actually, in the Philippines, by law, they only require you 5. 5 leave credits, annual leave. But in practice, most of the private companies like us, Flexisource IT, provide 20 or more. Because it's something to put to the employee so they can sign the contract. But to be compliant, 5 is only what the government is saying. 5 and you're compliant. Philippine holidays, we have 2 categories. We have the regular and the special. So regular holidays is like, the Christmas, the Holy Week. The special holidays is like Chinese New Year or a Muslim moon something. So we have a total of 18 public holidays. These 2 has also different payouts. If it's regular holidays, times 2, it's like double time. If it's special holidays, it's 30%. So if your employee rendered work on a special holiday, you need to pay extra 30% of his or her wage. If it's regular holidays, it's double. And it's also different if it's overtime. If it's overtime, then that's another computation for that. Excuse me. Minimum salary wage of employee. Guys, this is $15 for Manila. Provincial rate is, around $13. The provincial rate is Cebu, Davao, Baguio, Iloilo, those ones that I mentioned. But please don't use this as a benchmark. Oh, Missy said that, it's just $12 per hour or $15 in Manila to hire someone. No. That's the minimum that the government requires. But to be competitive in the market, we don't follow this one. It's actually more than this one, more than the rate, depending on the skill, depending on the years of experience, depending on the specialized field. If you have questions, guys, later I can actually entertain that if you like. All right, the other benefits, guys, for employing people in the Philippines. So you have to comply again to a minimum wage, which I mentioned earlier. Holiday pay, if you're asking them, because Australia has a different holiday in the Philippines. If you're asking them to come in or work on a PH holiday, then you have to pay holiday pay. Overtime pay, night shift differential, night shift. There's no really benchmark in terms of this one. The practice is actually 15% of the night differential. Night differential is from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next day. So if you're asking your team members to work at nighttime, from 10 to 6, they have to be paid by night differential. Service incentive leaves, this is optional. It's not mandatory for all company, but Flexisource provide this as another benefit to our employees. This is 1 service credit every single year. It's basically if you're 1 year in the company, you earn another leave credit. It's an optional for you guys. Expanded maternity leave. Before, we have only 60 days maternity leave. Now it's actually 120. And it has to be paid. Paternity leave is 7 days. But they can borrow 7 days from their wives. Only if they're married. If they're not married, they can't. That's a kind of tricky Catholic-y thing in the Philippines. Yes, sir. Are you going to ask a question?
Who pays the maternity leave?
Yeah, that's the company, the local company.
So we could employ someone, they get pregnant, we owe 120 days pay without work.
Yeah. But you can get reimbursed of 70,000 pesos. So you can calculate, let's say, I'm earning 100,000 pesos, or your expense to that person, because she was out for like 120 days, is 100,000. The government will repay you 70,000 pesos only. So that's the kind of like said. So sometimes I know, probably some of the doesn't want to hire.
Is there a contract that doesn't apply?
Yes, if it's a contractor, it doesn't apply. It's only for full time. Good point. Yes, Jillian.
Sorry, quick question.
No worries.
The service increment leaves, is that from the minimum or from the first offer that you give them? So if you're giving them 20 days at start, is that increment then 21 after a year and 22 after 2 years? Or is it 20 given that they should be earning 7 after 2 years?
No, so how we do it is that every company has a prerogative to give the leave credits on day one. So you can give the full 20, 24, 30, whatever you feel like as your benefit on day one. But I highly suggest that after the regularization of the 6 month, that's when they get the leave. They're earning it, but they can only use it on their probation. When on the service leave is on their first year, on their anniversary, they get 1 extra. And then on the second year, they get another extra. So it's just adding to whatever balance they have.
But that's adding on the minimum.
Yes. Yeah.
On the first offer that you've given them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. And I forgot the parental leave for solo parents. It was just recently added by the government. Now that they recognize that there are, a large number of solo parents these days, and they're asking for benefits. So it's actually 7 days. Only if you have an ID. 7 days only. Only if you have an ID. You have to get a solo parent ID from the mayor, saying that you're really a solo parent. Otherwise, your HR won't credit that one to you, because it has to be that. 13th month pay. The 13th month pay, guys, is equivalent to the basic of the employee. It's not equivalent to the actual monthly. Let's say I'm earning 100,000 pesos, but my basic pay is 80. And then the other allowances, let's say internet allowance, whatever, kind of communication allowance is 20,000. My 13th month is not 100,000. It's just 80,000. It's the same computation when you fire someone just cause. You're not giving him or her 100,000, but you're only giving the person the basic pay. And that's why some companies are very low in giving basic. They actually give a lot in other bonuses. They give, attendance bonus, clothing bonus, all sort of rice bonus, rice meal. I remember having that one in my previous company. Rice meal, because rice is life in the Philippines, but the basic is very low. So if your employees are senior to the industry, no, I want 100,000 basic. So that's that. 13th month pay must be given before December 23 as a law. Otherwise, you can get sued. All right. 4 ways to fast track your business growth. Let's fast track. This is only from me, right? So don't, if you have different opinion, that's fine. This is only from me based on my experience. For me, you have to have a very clear business plan for growth. Minimum 5 years. All right, I want to set up a business now, right? Like Julian, like John. I want to, set up this one. This is my vision. This is what I want to do. What does it look like 5 years from now? Yeah, I have my percent of growth is this. You have to look at percent of growth, percent of profit, and all other things, right? You have to have a clear business plan for growth. If you are not skilled to do that, I recommend a business development manager. The business development manager will sort you out on this one. Build and strengthen your core management team. This is, for me, very important. You're here. You're running a business in the Philippines. You need to make sure that your pillars, it's like a house. The posts should be strong. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of upper management, all lip service, and I would know once I see one. Once I interview one, I would know that it's all lip service. I've seen them a lot in QBE and IBM. I've been in a multinational company. They're wearing flashy clothes, When they sit down on a call, they don't know their shit. They don't know what they're really talking. They're just all highfalutin words, something that the directors would want to hear. But they don't know the bottom of your business. Make sure that when you're setting your business in the Philippines, you have a very strong management team. Someone that you can trust, someone that knows what they're doing. Operations must be strong. Finance, recruitment, and HR. Those four. And of course, as a business owner, you always have to check, right? It's very important too. Third one, implement a good marketing strategy. Guys, Australian, I researched, spend 6.6 hours online. So pretty much like, 7 hours of each day, Australian spend like that. Filipinos are not, too far. We spend 7.7 hours in phones, mobile devices, iPad. 4 hours of that, as per the recent study, is on social media. And this is a perfect time for us to actually advertise our business through online marketing. So Scott will, is very good on that as a marketing guru. So reach out to him if you have questions on that. But you have to have a very good marketing strategy. Website should be updated, with real photos or with updated technologies. And this is for me, treat your team right. Treat your team as if they are really vital in your business. As the famous author says, Zig Ziglar, when you create your business, it's not just about creating business. You have to enable your people, because your people will do the business. And I agree with that. Some businessmen like, I want a business, whatever. Do your job, that's it. But they're not treating their team well, right? So it's very important for me. So these are my 4 things. I'm sure there's a lot of it. But yeah, that's for me. Offshore, what's the new trend now in the Philippines? Well, benefits of offshoring in the Philippines. Well, can save you on labor costs. In many cases, you'd be able to look for workers who are willing to work on a lesser budget compared to other countries. Access to skilled workers. An offshore agency, like in the Philippines, can help you access to large pool of skilled workers. This means that you'll be able to find workers with the right skills for your project, whatever you're looking for. And efficiency. In the Philippines, you can improve your business efficiency with offshore outsourcing to help you get work done faster and more efficiently. So I think that's that. And right now, guys, the management, I don't know what they're thinking. They are actually doing the RTO, return to office. They're mandating a lot of companies to go back to the office right now. And we've seen that my recruitment team and my HR team, we're kind of doing like a little bit of study of what does it impact to candidates. And sometimes we ask the question. Most of the candidates, upfront when you call them, hi, my name is Missy from Flexisource IT. I saw your profile on LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And then the candidate will be like, before we go on, is this a permanent work from home? That will be their question, because they want a permanent work from home setup. Some are also resigning because of that, the hybrid. I just interviewed a person and I said, you're just in this company for 1 year, what's wrong? Because I wanted to establish behavior. And she goes like, oh, because they want us to come back to the office. So these are the type of concern of the Philippines. And I guess, with COVID, it's fine. You just have to, I'll discuss later what you guys need, but yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, guys, as long as you have the right tools. With the COVID situation, guys, some business owners actually moved to a co-working kind of setup. They actually doesn't want to rent because of high cost. In Makati City, it ranges from 500 pesos to 2,000 pesos per person per day, or about $51, $52 Australian. So it depends. It's like similar to Creative Cubes. You can rent like a space if you like, for days, or if you want it just 1 day, 2 days a week, that's fine. So I think they shifted to that. Same in the Philippines. There's a lot of offices that does that. For Flexisource IT, we still kept the the office, simply because my boss spent a lot of money in renovating that in 2018. So we wanted to have an office. And we still go there from time to time, for some little meetings. It's still nice to have an office, but this is the new kind of trend. Like, if you wanted to set up your business, this will be the cost. The cost in the Philippines is about 700 per square if you wanted to rent a real office. On top of that will be, the utility costs and all other things. So, yeah, 5 ways to grow your business with your remote team. Find the right team for your business. When I say find the right team for your business, guys, this is equivalent to sourcing the right people. It's really hard during the interview. My suggestion is, apart from skills, you actually check for attitude. I guess because I'm Filipino, I know kind of if this person is really saying the right thing or not. Depending on the role, for the pillars that you want to hire, you want to make sure that they really did it on their own. Like the managers that you want to hire, especially as a startup, will be someone that doesn't mind to roll up their sleeves and do the dirty job. Like I'm telling you guys, well, back then, when we're starting in Flexisource IT, I'm mopping the floor. I don't mind it. I'm buying the groceries from Woolies for supplies. And I don't mind it because that's how you do when you start up the business. So the key things that I'm looking for my core team is one skills, right? Skills can be learned, but attitude is something nature. So I want them to be more people skills, something that can they value mentoring people as well, have leadership in them. I can rely on them when I'm out. So you have to really find the right team for your business. Tools, because it's remote, it's important. Some of the devs, I'm from the IT industry, they hate the tools. They hate being, the time doctor and the Clockify and all that kind of monitoring. So you have to really just try to best fit which one can be used as a tool. There's heaps of it. If you wanted just project delivery, you don't need like a time doctor. You just have to run it on Jira and do the burn down chart. All right, these are the tasks for you. So for 2-week sprint, you've accomplished 6 to 8 tasks and hours. You just have to have the right tools. Otherwise, because for me, if you don't have the tool to measure, how can you? My previous boss said to me, Missy, how can you say something is good when you can't measure it? So you need to have a certain measuring point. So team engagement. It's hard during COVID, but we can always be creative. Online events, Filipinos love to sing. We love karaoke. Filipinos love some, deal or no deal kind of, quiz bee or something like that. To get a food voucher, to get $10 food voucher. They love that. So do something like that even if it's COVID. And if you can, visit them in the Philippines, that will be beautiful. So, and next one, performance evaluation. Again, it's similar to a scorecard. So I'm performing well. I wanted to be evaluated, right? I wanted to be noticed by my boss. I wanted to make sure that my accomplishment is well known by my supervisors, because I'm looking forward to a salary increase, because that's where the performance evaluation is coming from. And last but not the least is communication, guys. Filipinos, we can speak English acceptably. Generally acceptable English, as I said, because 9 out of 10 subjects in the uni are delivered in English. So all of us can read, write, not probably, converse in a very good way, but can talk, right? Communication is important. To me, communicating is not just talking. You have to listen to them. And sometimes, Filipinos are very shy. Sometimes they don't want to say things to you guys because they feel that, you'll think of them as an idiot or you'll think of them as something else. But this one is very important to make sure that you have a very successful team. If you feel that they don't understand you, reach out to them. Hey, you sure you understand me? In the same manner, Filipinos, I train my guys, you don't say, you don't smile. They will smile to you guys. They will, everything clear? Yes. But I can see the big question mark on their forehead, so I'll put them on the side. Hey, did you understand what Richard said earlier? Did you understand what it is? Actually, no. See, what he's trying to say is this. I capture that because I know. But that's why I'm saying to you guys that when you feel that they don't understand, put them and say, hey, are you sure? That's fine, right? Communication is very important because you're running a remote team. And hey, yeah, this is one of the things that I sort of live by. I love Stephen Covey. If you guys have read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I love him so much. I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decision. And this applies to me because coming from a very poor family, guys, I don't even know that I'll be here in front of you right now. So I'm very privileged and thankful to my boss who's been always supportive to me for this engagement. But you know, I think for me, I'm a product of my own decisions. All the things that was been successful is because I made that decision, and I'll be very responsible to all the decisions that I will take. So, yep, with that, guys, that's really it that I wanted to cover in a nutshell. I know you have specific questions. Julian has raised to me specific question earlier, which is very good. I will have a catch up with you on that specifically. For others, guys, do you have specific questions in doing business? Yes, sir.
You had 3 main towns. You had Manila, Cebu,
And Davao.
and Mindanao.
Yeah.
But I've heard that Mindanao is quite dangerous the further south you go with the rebels.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That's Davao is actually, to be fair, Davao is a pretty safe area, except for other regions in Mindanao. I think the ones that you see in the TV, sometimes media is media. Sometimes they kind of overrated in terms of the information. But in Mindanao, there are areas that's safe. You don't go like Zamboanga is still pretty safe, the city. The city areas are fine. But the ones that's like, further down, that's where the rebels are. But Davao is pretty safe. If you've been there, it's pretty safe, to be honest.
So what's the story with Clark up the top? That seems to be a new, almost like an enclave for businesses to come into. The sports kind of been, they've got a big
Arena?
big sports field up there.
Not sure about that, but Clark is Clark has, I just went there before my trip here. Clark is a major city now for Koreans. There's a lot of Koreans in there. Clark is just, has been another business district outside the city. So it's just more of that, nothing that, yeah, it's like similar to Subic.
It seems that there's just an Australian delegation went over there in the last couple of weeks. 20 people from Australia went over there to do an inspection to see about opening up businesses.
Because there are lots of land there. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in that because it's because the city is very congested, so they want to kind of further out, which is quite close but not really. So Clark is one of that, which is 2.5 hours drive from, and it has their own airport. So that's the other thing.
1 hour, 55 minutes, but traffic gets a lot worse. It can be very, very dependent on the traffic.
They're very dependent. That's true. Yeah.
Is there jeepneys in
All over the Philippines, there are jeepneys, taxis. Yeah, blowing of horns is like, yes, common there. Yeah. Yes, Lynn?
Next week we're heading over to the
Oh, lovely.
with the team. I was just wondering, what's a good or a really nice Australian gift you can take for, say, the girls and the guys? So what sort of thing would they appreciate if we took a token from Australia?
I always ask Richard to bring us the caramello koalas. Because we don't have that. That specific, the Fredo, that one. The caramello, yeah. Yeah, so that's really good. Or company merch. Let's say, like t-shirt, or like a stress ball, or like a coffee mug that has the, Flexisource IT, like company name on it. They will appreciate so much. But, chocolates is, oh, Fredo, because we don't have that. We don't have that. Yes, Julie? No. No. We won't appreciate that. I tried it once. Sorry, Julian.
I've got a question about the labour force, about labour working there, and more specifically about anti-vaxxers. So I want to get some comprehension. I want to know not just what rates are that have been taken up, but if you could just tell, we've got experiences here where there might be signs at doors saying you can't come in unless you're vaccinated. Is there something
Yeah, good question, Julian. Good that you point that out. So in the Philippines, guys, we are now we're required to have two dose to get to the mall, to get to restaurants. If you don't have that, sadly, you won't be entertained. However, they're not strictly enforcing it. The restaurants wants people to come in. So that's the law, but that's not what some restaurants are following. So yeah.
So if I'm recruiting for roles, can I specify that applicants have to be vaccinated? Is that something I can do?
No, I don't think I don't, how do I phrase? I don't I you might offend some not really offend, but it's more also like why is the vaccine important for my job? Why are you asking? Is there a specific, like, do I need to be in the office physically? For Flexisource IT, we are 97% vaccinated, like 2 doses. I got booster shots simply because my country needs me to have a booster shot. Otherwise, I'll get a rapid test. But
So then I just need to set it up through my own policies.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, most of them, I'm assuring, they will be at least vaccinated too because they want to go to the mall. Honestly, I only got that, my one, no joke, because I wanted to go to the mall.
Facebook, and there's a lot of, so they get a lot of things off of Facebook in their news, so all of the disinformation and so forth did cause a lot of, we had to have a lot of seminars and a lot of things
Yeah.
talking about what's the real fact, so really it's education.
Yeah, it's really that. Thanks, Rich. Sorry,
I
yes?
think I've worked out the entry requirements, which is that you have to have been, in order to travel from Australia to the Philippines, you have to produce a valid vaccination certificate.
Yeah.
Preferably an international vaccination
Yeah.
certificate, which I've done. And on that, if you've had the 2 vaccinations but no boosters, you have to have a PCR test.
Yes.
48 hours.
Before the
not more than 48 hours.
before the trip. Yeah.
And then within 24 hours, you've got to fill in some checklist on a website.
OHS, yeah.
You have to fill in that checklist if you've had a booster, and is it only 1 booster that gets you past that, or do you have to have had 2 boosters?
Just one is okay.
Okay, so do I have to fill in the 24-hour one?
The one health pass. Actually, 3 days before the flight. OH something.
What I read recently was.
It was, yeah, it was,
So PCR test not more than 48 hours before departure. Is that departure from Melbourne? And if you're going via Sydney, the international link starts in Sydney, which is the right one because that's
Have it in Melbourne.
yeah.
It's in Melbourne, of course, but
From experience, and you can get it at the airport as well, but from experience, yeah, look, it's flexible, but I had an issue with it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, when you went to the US, yeah. 48 hours on your original city.
from your
Original city.
even if it's a domestic flight Melbourne to Sydney, as long as it's not
Correct,
Sydney.
correct, I'll see it on there, correct.
Let's see it.
PCR at the airport, can you?
Yeah, they still do. It was so quick. I did my one last August.
Just a 60-minute one at the airport that they have.
So
I've
quick.
had that before, but the airport ones that they have is within an hour, so they get the results within an hour.
But you've got Friday start of school holidays, so it's going to be really busy. Okay, next question
Sure.
is, I'm taking some technical equipment with me, which I
That's
which I will bring out with me as well, but I want to do some testing of some satellite systems, and I also I want to have it to be able to, I'm hoping to have a meeting with the Mapping and Resource Information Department. I've said it, I've produced a 2-page letter on why I'd like to meet with them, and we've got no response, and what my
I don't think it's an issue. I think it's what kind of, I think you just have to call the airlines for it, because I don't think there will be an issue for it.
about taking something out that may be duty of all that you could have left there and not attracted duty, and then you've got to prove you took it out to bring it back.
I'm not really sure about that.
It's about,
Yeah, I'm not.
people bringing things in to sell things.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
how do you prove it?
How big is it?
I don't think, it's gonna be a problem.
4 decks of cards.
They won't notice it.
Yeah, they won't notice it at all. Yeah, if that's the thing, they won't notice it.
The next question is that I've tried to get this appointment with the Mapping and Resource Information Department of the government, and I haven't had a response. What my personal assistant, who is my remote worker over there, tells me is, she says, I'm really sorry to say this, and it's embarrassing, but you have to pay them a bribe. Now,
sadly, and I'm embarrassed for that, that's how you do it in the Philippines. To expedite it, give them like something.
How do you know what is it $100? Is it 10,000?
Yeah, you would know, Lynn. Like, you would know who you need to pay. Like, yeah, you would know. Like, if you're PA in the Philippines, he would know which to pay to.
Well, she's talking to her sister who works for the government to find
Yeah.
out what the
Because
appropriate introductory fee is.
yeah, that's what they call introductory, but it's basically bribe on their pockets.
Yeah, was said earlier tonight, in America you've got to go through a lobbyist, and that's the same thing in America.
Yeah.
So it's the way business is done. I'm an ethical business person, but if in that country it is done through, and I don't like the word bribe, and I wouldn't like to be part of bribe, but if it is an introductory fee, because that is simply the way that you get anything done in that country, you're either in or you're out. And
Yeah.
I haven't had the whole
That's a sad reality in the Philippines. It's a system that I hate, actually. Yeah, that's part of it. But
Given that there's 7,641 islands, and I'll be banned from all of them if I do.
no, you won't be. Yeah, no, you won't be. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for all those questions. If you have more, let me know. But we have drinks and food at the table if you want to grab that. Thank you again for joining for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. And thank you, Creative Cubes. Thank you, Richard Gross, for sponsoring this event, Flexisource IT. Shout out to a good friend, Adrienne, who sponsored some of the wines. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys, and nice to meet all of you. Have a safe evening. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. No worries, no worries. I'll give you, sure, yeah, I'll give you one. Sure. No worries. Cool.
Thank you.
What's your
We are